set it up, and they've carried through.
Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
They'll let them go.
One guy 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5"?
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
And the good old days.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's start off with saying happy birthday to our very own Beth Penny, who will be, 18 tomorrow. Tomorrow's her birthday.
18 forever.
Happy birthday, Beth. You're the best.
Happy birthday, Beth.
I mean, we got a couple things we're going to talk about, and they're not going to be all rainbows and sunshine. I can tell you that.
Where we start? We're going to congratulate the Florida Panthers first.
If you got it, I guess.
Is Florida the hockey haven now? How many Stanley Cups have they won in the last 5-6 years there? The state of Florida.
Yeah.
3 now, right? The last 6 years?
3 in the state of Florida, the great state of Florida, the big
haven.
state of Florida.
The hockey haven.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk?
The first one for the Panthers, obviously in their franchise history, they're 30 years old. This year they hit 30, right? So they won one. I got to tell you, I can't believe they won it. I really thought Edmonton had him. I thought Edmonton had him in a chokehold. And bits and pieces of that game last night, man. I really thought they were going to pull ahead, but
well, they both had each other in a chokehold. You got to give Florida the props properly, Paulie. They were up 3-0. And as history has shown in the National Hockey League, only one team, and I believe it's the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs, came back against one of your favorite teams, the Detroit Red Wings, to win a Stanley Cup after being down 3-0. So it's only happened once in the history of the game, Paulie. So it was tough. It was a tough road. To me, I didn't have a horse in the race. I wasn't picking either side. But I'll give Edmonton props for coming back. And last night, I'll admit it, Florida hung on for dear life in that third period. They did. Edmonton threw everything they could out. They just couldn't get that clean stick on a puck when it was going back and forth in front of the crease, over the net, everywhere. Just couldn't get it, In the end, Florida, they deserve what they got, Paulie.
yeah, well, I can't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want them to win.
I know you did.
I didn't want them to win. I thought, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think differently, I guess, than most. But I still say after that 8-1 trouncing, I think Edmonton could have got ugly in that game and should have got ugly in that game and should have done things. And they didn't. And it bothered me, to be honest with you. I think Sam Bennett ran around. I thought he went unabated. I thought that bullshit with Connor McDavid was awful. And I thought that guys like Tkachuk and Bennett should have paid for that. And that was the game they really could have done it, because you weren't going to lose that game. You were risking nothing. But
isn't that a failure on Edmonton's part, though, Paulie, as an organization?
Yeah,
that's not a failure on. That's not a bad thing what Florida did. They decided they're going to get a pound of flesh at the end of that game, and they did.
Yeah.
First of all, why are you having Connor McDavid out there in the first place?
Well,
when it scores out of reach, because we got to break records now? Is that it?
Nah, stop it.
Well, think about it. What was the score when all that shit happened?
I think they were just trying to get their power play going a little bit.
Well, neither team's power play. Look at Beer League's power play is better than both those teams.
Yeah, well,
for sure.
at the end, you would have thought that with Edmonton's scoring prowess, you would have thought they would have had the best.
You know what though? I was talking to a friend of mine who's very well versed in the game, and we were just talking about a little ahead of time. I can't tell you how many times Draisaitl never scored for that one timer on the off wing during that power play. He didn't score one goal in the playoffs. I mean, in the finals here. And if you look at his regular season in the past few years, how many goals does he score off that one-time shot, Paulie? A lot. And he just seemed to either miss the net, miss fire, miss everything. And that's one of their key plays on the power play, is setting it up for him on the side. Yeah. Didn't work.
Yeah, he was non-existent, if I'm being honest. I mean, I was very disappointed with him. I'm going to try something here. Hold on.
And I'll say something while you're doing it. Before we even get going here on this, I don't want to hear about who played hurt. I don't want to hear about that shit, okay, people? Because right now we're already hearing about Connor McDavid was playing with an injury, Draisaitl was playing with a broken rib. Why aren't we hearing anything about the Florida side? Who knows what was wrong with them? I'm just saying, I don't want to hear any excuses. Your jersey's on, you step on the ice in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're ready to go. I don't want to hear any excuse of playing hurt. Okay, just get that out of the way. All right. What are we going to try there?
I mean, I want to do a couple things here. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I doubt we're going to get to everything. No, I just wanted to elevate the camera a little bit. I felt like it was too low. I mean, I guess I'm going to start with, I read a lot of people disappointing and jumping all over Connor McDavid about several things. Obviously he didn't score in the last two games.
That's true. That part's true.
He didn't come out and receive the Conn Smythe. And, why did he win the Conn Smythe? Just a lot of things that I read today, and it kind of bothered me. First of all, I mean, the guy is third place in points in a 100+ year league in playoff points. I think that's why he won the fucking Conn Smythe, if I'm just being honest. Superseded Wayne Gretzky's assist record that was held for how long? With, I believe, 34. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why he won the Conn Smythe. I don't think anybody should even question that, or because he's on the losing team, you shouldn't win a Conn Smythe. I mean, come on, man. The guy came in third place behind Mario Lemieux and the greatest player ever, Wayne Gretzky, in his first, full run to the Stanley Cup in his career. Pretty impressive. I'm sorry. So,
I think there's an argument for both sides, though, Paul. You and I discussed it just before we came on. There's an argument for both sides. I think it was a flip of a coin, and it came out with the vote. The people that vote, mostly, believe it or not, are mostly Canadian writers. Believe it or not, I don't know.
Right.
They decided that Connor McDavid was worthy of it. I'm not saying he's not worthy of it. I think it could have went either way, Bobrovsky or him. Even though Bobrovsky had a few bad games. There's no question about it. He got torched. But Connor McDavid also had 3 bad games in the 7-game final, as far as I'm concerned. He got shut out in 2 and only had 1 point in the first 2 games. So, there's argument in both ways. And reaching those milestones that you're talking about with Gretzky and Lemieux, that's probably what did it. You know what I mean? Probably, gave him the nod. I got no argument with that. But what I'm pissed off about is how people think it was classless of him not to go on the ice and pick up his Conn Smythe trophy.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? You think he flew to fucking Florida in a 7th game, his first time to chance to win a Stanley Cup, captain of the team, flying all the way down to fucking Florida to win a Conn Smythe? Fuck you.
You don't
everybody.
care about that.
He wants the Stanley Cup. You don't want that thing there. That's something he can look at when he's 80, 90 years old and go, yeah, I won that. He didn't go down. He didn't fly all that way and play that game yesterday to win a Conn Smythe trophy. So I think I was talking again with a good friend of mine, and not that I'd ever be close enough to win one, but I wouldn't have went out on the ice to get it if my team lost in the 7th game. I'm pissed off. Why the fuck would I go out there?
Right.
Go fuck yourselves, people. You people got to get another life about him showing no class and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's not interested. I mean, the Conn Smythe is like, Conn Smythe is mostly, especially for someone like Connor. I mean, that's the cherry on top of the ice cream. If you don't have the ice cream, nobody really wants the cherry. I mean, what the hell?
I don't blame him one bit of that. And the people that say that it was classless, you know what? You got class, you people. Third.
Anyway, yeah. So that's, I believe, that's the reason why he won, and it makes sense not to come out on the ice for the Conn Smythe when you haven't won the ultimate goal, the ultimate trophy. But Kyle, we were talking before that, before we went on, and I think one of the biggest disappointments, obviously, is not really McDavid, but Leon Draisaitl had 3 total points in the Stanley Cup Finals here. Just not enough from a guy who scored how many goals and had a 100-point season, and is highly counted on. And we talked about the power play, highly counted on for scoring on the power play, and just so many different things. He was like absolutely non-existent. But I'll let you talk about that, and then I'll throw in the rest of what I was going to say here.
About the only negative thing I'd say about the Edmonton Oilers is something I've been saying for years, Paulie. You can't just keep winning scoring titles after scoring title after scoring title and being the top number 1, number 2, or 3 point getter every year like those two have, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and then have people anoint you as the greatest of all time, the greatest this, the greatest that. You can't do that. I'm sorry.
Right.
He may be Connor McDavid may be the greatest player in the league right now. I still prefer Nathan McKinnon overall. I prefer his game overall, but that's just me. They got to win something. And Leon Draisaitl came up with goose eggs, Paulie.
Yeah.
But for the ice time he got and the opportunities he got, he came up with goose eggs. Yeah. And I know like I said, I did my reading today, and we're going to hear more about, injuries and this and that and this and that.
Well, everyone plays through injuries.
Exactly. The good thing about Leon Draisaitl is he owned it. He took ownership of that and admitted he had not played well. I haven't heard anything about him, since last night, but up till Game 7, he admitted that he wasn't playing up to his standards and what the Edmonton Oilers expect of him. And he is going to be an unrestricted free agent pretty soon, I think. Maybe not this year, but next year. And, there's going to be a lot of money paid to that guy one way or the other. But, they're 1-2 all the time, Paul. They're like the dynamic duo of Western Canada when it comes to scoring and putting points up. And they finally got to a Stanley Cup, which is a positive for them. But in the end, they came up 1 goal short. I wrote it last night on Facebook. 1 goal short, 1 game short. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I want to say a couple things here. What a comeback for a team. First of all, in the regular season, let's talk about that. They were.
Oh yeah, they were.
We were running shows, and we were. They were the laughing stock. I mean, they were slightly better than the Ducks and the Sharks at one point. And then what's his name? Knobloch came in.
Chris Knobloch, the Ranger, Hartford coach,
comes in, turns them around. They went on giant win streaks. Didn't they have one? They were almost breaking a record where they were 15.
They were 16-0.
Yeah, 15 or 16. So they really went. They impressed in the playoffs. They played some damn good teams. I mean, they had to beat Vancouver, who were hot. They had to beat Dallas, who were just 1 point behind the New York Rangers in points overall for the season. And then obviously, let's talk a little bit about that. Is that, we did a show when the Rangers got bounced, and what could have been, what should have been, what might have been, who wasn't there, who should have been there, who showed up, who didn't show up. They did a lot of the same things to the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, I think the only difference is that Connor McDavid's speed and the ability of their speed moving the puck was able to combat a little bit of what Florida can do to you defensively, and how they hemmed the first 3 games. You had texted me. It was hilarious because you had texted me after the first 3 games and you said, hey, maybe the Rangers weren't that awful. You remember that?
They weren't. I didn't know about it.
So you got to give props to Florida and the style that they played. Being a Ranger fan and watching them, what they did to our team, and the frustration that we had, I know I had constantly hemmed in. That's what they did to the Oilers in the first 3 games. They forechecked the shit out of them. But Edmonton was finally able to move the puck with speed. And, we need to talk about goaltending. I thought Skinner probably played the best he's ever played, but he's not a fantastic goalie by any means. And, if you want to have a discussion, Reinhart's goal last night wasn't.
Oh, you want to talk about that? I already talked about that with a good, former teammate of mine, Ron Greshner, last night when it happened.
Yeah, that's probably I should have had.
Let me tell you this one.
Go ahead.
Who's the defenseman there again? Kulik?
Was it CC or was it Kulik?
No, there's Kulik, the left.
Okay.
Left defenseman. Yeah. How long have you been in the league, Kulik? That's what I would have said to him as soon as he got to the bench. CC picked up the right guy in front of the middle of the net. The winger for Edmonton picked up the right guy. Everybody was picked up properly, but Kulik backed all the way inside the hash marks. Let's see. This ain't the fourth line guy coming down on the right wing. This is a guy who scored 57 goals. Okay? And you're backing all the way in? That's on Kulik. I don't care what anybody. That's on him, Paulie. He's got to stand up there because everybody else was picked up properly. If you looked at the replay, everybody got picked up properly except Kulik ends up elbow and elbow with Ceci in front of the net when that puck goes in. That's just terrible defensive play by Kulik. I'm sorry. Terrible play. And the puck kind of knuckled a little bit, so squeezed in between, the goaltender's arm there. But that's on Kulik all the way. I right away said, to Ron Gresham, I said, what's he doing backing in? Why are you backing off this guy? This is a 57-goal scorer. And it's about what I always tell you about scouting your players. You're not going to worry about Paul Reinhart dipsy-dooling around you. Or, sorry, Reinhart dipsy. I'm talking about his father now. Wow. You're not going to worry about him dipsy-dooling on you. Like, if that's Connor McDavid, I understand why you're backing into the front of the net.
Right.
He made a mistake there, Paul. He gave him too much space, too much of an angle to shoot that puck. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be the big goal of the game, but it ended up being it,
Yeah.
Skinner, it went between his arm and his sides. But Kulik, just, I don't know, man. I didn't think that was going to be the end of the game there with that goal. But unfortunately for Edmonton, unfortunately for Florida, the third period played out with nobody scoring.
How did you, Kotz, watching Edmonton obviously play Florida's style, and then obviously being a Ranger fan and being having that frustration, I mean, when you could turn, and we talked about McDavid and we talked about Draisaitl, when you could turn two of the highest scoring guys into 3 points for Draisaitl. I mean, like you said, there was 3 games there where McDavid, I think there was one game he had one shot on goal, right?
McDavid had 1
games where
point.
it was pointless.
1 point in the second game. Okay.
So
And shut out the last 2.
I mean, there's a lot to say about that the style of play, I guess, and the ability. Now, the other thing I will add is obviously there was no Evander Kane for the Oilers. He must have been hurt. I didn't see him play, but I think he played game 1.
Listen, their bottom 6 guys played well.
Oh yeah,
I mentioned it, I think, earlier. Fogle,
Brown. Brown had 2 short-handed. Didn't he have 2 short-handed?
McLeod. Those guys all played really. I mean, again, if people want to go back and look at this at each game and break it down, the games the Edmonton Oilers won, the scoring were not led by Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid.
Right.
Guys that got him on the board on those games early were the bottom 6 guys, Paulie.
Yeah.
Bottom 6.
And in crucial moments.
Yeah.
Short-handed.
And yeah. I don't know how Edmonton can get 5 breakaways in a series. The Florida defenseman must be just out of their minds letting anybody get behind them. But they did 5 times. And I think Bobrovsky let in 5 goals on 5 breakaways in that series. So, yeah, it was, again, it's tough. It's tough out there for Edmonton. Edmonton played very well, like I said, when they won their 3 games. They played their style of hockey. But if you notice, Paulie, here's the thing about both teams and why they got where they were. And I know we're gonna focus in so much on the skilled players and the goaltending, which is rightfully so. But did you notice anybody out there that was afraid to get hit?
No.
I didn't see anybody was afraid to get hit.
No. They
went in the corners. They knew they were going to get hit. Both teams I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And if you play that style of hockey as a team, that one time that hit comes, it might not work, or the other way around, where the offensive guy has the puck, could be the reason why you win that game. But if you're shying away from that kind of traffic, that doesn't bode well for your team. And I think I'm kind of leaning towards who our Rangers on that. There's a few guys that don't like to get hit. Just letting you know. That's my theory.
Or throw hits.
Well,
there's a big guy in blue that doesn't like to throw his body around.
I have no idea why the players in the modern day are afraid of anything.
Yeah.
This is not when I played, where you had to face a Bobby Probert, or you had to face a Dave Semenko, or a Tim Hunter, or a Larry Playfair, or Ben Wilson, when you did something that was out of order in their minds. Nobody does. There's none of those around anymore, Paulie. There's none of those guys around anymore. And the league won't allow those guys around anymore. They won't allow them to take umbrage with you after you've hit one of our star players. And that's why I've been arguing with you for the last 30 years, how little guys are tough guys now. So I don't understand why anybody would be afraid on the ice now. Why are you afraid of getting hit? Why are you afraid of hitting somebody? It's not like I said, you're not going to have to pay the price so big Bobby Probert steps on the ice, grabs you, and punches your brains out till you're out till the next week. That era's over.
Yeah.
So why are you afraid to make contact or take contact? I've said this to a few people that I've played with in the past. Boy, it would be fun to play today. If we took our attitude and put it in today's game, boy, would it be fun to play today. It wouldn't have to worry about a Joey Kosher or anything like that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'd be able to take cheap shot after. That's why Sam Bennett gets away with what he does. He knows nobody's going to grab him. You know what I mean? Who's going to grab him from Edmonton? Think about it. Who?
One thing that annoyed me.
I like that guy, though. I wish he was in a Ranger jersey.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean, I wasn't happy as a Ranger fan when we played Florida because I didn't think Laviolette did what he could have done and should have done. I thought Shesterkin got bumped quite a few times. It was the big joke about, Kachuk talking to him and Shesterkin saying, yeah, I don't understand English. I mean, you got a 6'7", 6'8" players willing to drop the glove. Should have went out there and ripped his fucking helmet right off his head and fucking beat the living shit out of him.
First thing you do is grab his mouth guard like Kreider did. Except this time you don't give it back to him.
I would have knocked his mouth guard down his fucking throat. He would have choked out on it, to be honest with you. I just don't. But here's the thing. You listen to Marchand, and I know everyone hates Marchand from the Boston Bruins. Well, what did he say? He said, hey, nobody wants to admit this, but we want to hurt each other. Guys want to hurt each other. Obviously. I still think there's part of that in the game of hockey.
Well, yeah.
I still feel that way.
I agree, too.
I'm sorry. I would direct my attention. I get it. You can't take stupid penalties. You don't want to put your team at risk. But guys got to pay the price. And you talk about guys being afraid to get hit or take hits or, whatever the case may be is. Man, if you know somebody's going to pull your lid off and rip your face off behind it, you're probably not going to run the goalie. You're probably not going to talk to the goalie. You're probably not going to do those types of things. And I'm still waiting for that. I was very impressed with Edmonton's willingness to take the body.
They got out-hit, though, still, Paulie. Florida out-hit.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's Florida's game. They're going to hit you, of course. The defensemen are constantly pinching, taking a body along the wall. But I don't know, man. I still miss that little bit of, just ugliness where –
Listen, I totally agree with what you said there about that. You really want to, you know what I mean? But when's the last time you've seen something like that happen with any team?
Yeah.
If that was the case, and that's in other words, I'm giving you an example here. If that was the case, Brad Marchand should have been out of this league 5 years ago. Okay, but he knows he can get away with it. He knows that he could still get away with being a pest like he is. Sam Bennett will play that way until he retires because the league is not allowing that kind of stuff to happen anymore. All these scrums that we saw with Edmonton, realistically, in my day, the star player would never get involved with a Sam Bennett.
Right.
Okay? But unfortunately, McDavid got caught with him.
Oh.
And if he did get caught with him in my day, there would have been an automatic retribution immediately or thereafter for going after our best player.
Yep.
But then it's just not the way it is. Unfortunately, Paul, I get what you're saying. They do. I don't think anybody wants to throw a body check in this thing without taking the guy out. I mean, that's what your intention is. But that being said, I don't think the players are geared mentally to do what we did in our day because the NHL has changed the way the game's played. Period. End of story. I get it. Like for me, if I'm coaching, listen, if I'm the coach of the New York Rangers, you give me the head coaching job. Okay? Give me the head coaching job. My first rule I'm going to tell the guys in training camp is anybody skates near our goaltender, gives him snow showers, any of that crap, talk to him. I want him immediately jumped. Okay? Three things. I want him immediately jumped. I'll live with the penalties, but my goaltender is the most precious player on the ice. Do not allow any of that shit to happen.
Right.
Second of all, I'm going to go look at all the men's leagues, like the senior leagues, where guys can still play a little bit. And I want 3 guys that can skate, that are tough as nails, but they can still skate. I want them as my 4th line. And they're going to be dressed every fucking night when needed. You know what I mean? And used when needed.
Right.
That allows the rest of the team to play the way they want to do. But nobody's got the balls to do it now, Paulie. You have certain teams that have 1 guy that can skate, can throw the mitts, maybe 2. I want 3 guys. I want 3 guys that can play that 4th line. That when they step on the ice, the other team goes, "Holy shit! Now what do we do?"
We don't see it. You don't see it.
No, you don't see it. You don't see it because your stars should be protected. Your best players should be protected, plain and simple. Starting with your
Dave, I forgot what game it was. Was it game 5? It might have been game 5 where they just ragged out the shit out of McDavid behind the net.
Well, that was Bennett.
Yeah, well, Kachuk started it, got on his fucking back, choked him out, blah, blah, blah. Then Bennett's throwing punches in his face, and no retribution. And that was a game that was so out of Florida's hands that would have been the time where you could take a penalty. You can take a 5-minute, you can take a game misconduct, you can take all the penalties you need to take to say, I'll fucking kill you.
But who's going to do that on Edmonton? Which player?
I mean, the only one that can drop the gloves would be Evander Kane, I would think. But, I mean, I don't know.
Now, let's reverse that. Let's go back 40 years or so. If that was, for example,
Wayne Gretzky?
Me doing that to Wayne Gretzky and I'm playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, what do you think is going to happen?
McSorley's coming for you.
Semenko, McClellan, Messier. They're all going to try and get me.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anybody out there that would do it, Paulie.
No, I know.
Whoever was engaged with somebody else at the time when that was happening should have skated around and
Absolutely.
popped those 2 guys.
Absolutely.
Even if you had to sucker them, I don't give a shit. You sucker them. How dare you touch our diamond, our gold piece here?
I don't disagree, man.
But they did. So
you just don't have that anymore in the NHL. I want to talk about.
I got to interrupt here. We got to give the nods out to the Hall of Fame selections first of all.
Rattle them off there, big boy.
Well, you don't know anything about it, but I do. I looked them up today. Here's the 7 people that went in. I have to put the lights on for this one, folks, because it's pretty dark here. All right, Shea Weber, Jeremy Roenick, Pavel Datsyuk, one of Paulie's favorites right there. David Poyle, Colin Campbell.
What?
We're going to get to that one in a little while. Natalie Darwitz, U.S. hockey player, women's hockey, and Chrissy Wendell Poole, U.S. women's hockey player. Now, here I'm going to go what I think first. Okay, I'm okay with the Jeremy Roenick one, because he is the 4th highest scoring U.S. player of all time. So that's got to give you something there. Even though he didn't win a Stanley Cup or anything.
No, I know.
But he is the 4th guy.
Not many players have won the Stanley Cup cups. You know that.
Well, right? I know that. Yeah, but majority of the guys that get picked into the Hall of Fame usually do. Paulie, go look it up.
Okay.
That's a Stanley Cup. He won 2.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Now
Datsyuk was a magician, man.
I got nothing good to say, so go ahead. You can take over on Datsyuk.
I'm sorry, but that guy was magical at one point. I know you hated the Detroit Red Wings, and I know you were never a fan, but he was a really good player, man.
Well, he was a good player at a time where the league allowed players like him to freelance on the ice without getting killed, just like we're talking about now. I'm not going to knock him. The points are there, the Stanley Cups are there, but I ain't going to say anything good about him. So, all right. Now I'm going to get to Shea Weber. What do you think on that? I'm going to ask you first.
I don't see it, man.
I agree.
I don't see it.
I think he was a very good player.
He's a good player, yeah. He's not a Hall of Famer.
And I'm going to give you something here to just like think about. He played 1,038 games. Okay.
Wow, that's not really. Yeah.
He played 1,038 games. He scored 224 goals, 365 assists for a total of 589 points. Now I'm going to compare him to somebody, and I know I'm biased. This man played 981 games, scored 179 goals, had 431 assists for a total of 610 points.
Really?
You know who that
Ron
is?
Breshner.
Exactly. So you tell me. All right. So that's my thought on that one there. I think Shea Weber's a very good hockey player, borderline great, but I don't think he's worthy of the Hall of Fame. That's just me.
No, me neither.
Now, David Poile. Here's a guy. David Poile was a GM in Washington for I don't know how many years. A GM down in Nashville. He was in the league for 40 years, Paulie. 40 plus years. You know how many Stanley Cups he won as a GM? The same as me, people, right here. 0.
I know you were going to say that.
0. Yeah, throw me that football. Now we're going to get to my favorite. Colin Campbell. What is your thought on that? These two, hold on, first of all, these two guys, Poile and Campbell, they get in for I guess building, the game type thing, whatever. What about Colin Campbell? What's your thought on that?
Well, wait, first of all, how many games did Colin Campbell play? Like 30? How many games did he play?
Well, he played a long time in the NHL. You're wrong. He did play a long
time.
He
did.
But he's not getting in for his ability to play. He's getting in because of his, working with the NHL, being the officiate czar, being this guy, being that guy.
Yeah. He was,
and he was also, he was the assistant coach when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup. Right, so he was out there picking up pucks because Mike Keenan wouldn't listen to him. Period. You know who Mike Keenan is.
He was out there picking up pucks.
Damn right he was. He's not going to listen to anybody. Mike had his own way of coaching. Now, my question: Colin Campbell's got no business being in the Hall of Fame at all. At all. Sorry, at all. You know what this comes down to? What's that line you heard many times in your life and you're not supposed to say, but I'm going to say it tonight. It's who you know and who you blow. That's Colin Campbell for you. Right there.
How did we knew Kotze was going to have some color for that one.
It's the facts.
I know. I get it.
It's the facts on that.
Yeah. Colin Campbell, huh? His kid's in the league now, too.
No, he hasn't played. He hasn't been in the league a long time now. He's been out of the league for a while.
Yeah. He
was a good player. I liked his son. His son played hard. He was an honest player. Colin Campbell was a chicken shit when he played.
Yeah.
He was. I played against him.
All right.
I remember I told you the story. I chased him all the way to his bench one day when he was playing with Pittsburgh. He just sat there and laughed and hid behind everybody.
So much talk. Obviously, July 1st. Before you know it.
Tomorrow's free agent day, by the way, or no, buyout day. You can buy out players starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Any thoughts there?
Well, the rumors are, Trouba. There's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Let's see. They're talking about me. The word is they might buy out Trouba. They might package him with Capo Caco because Caco signed that $2.4 million, which they call a reasonable contract 1 year to maybe entice a team to get him and not hurt themselves cap-wise.
Barclay Goodrow, what'd you think of that?
I was a little disappointed in that. I understand in the end why, but I also want to know who you're going to replace him with. Another guy that doesn't want to get hit. You know what I mean? Barclay Goodrow had, as your favorite coach John Tortorella always said, he played with a little sandpaper. But I do understand it. The Rangers were at a cap problem, so he was going to make like $3.7 million next year or something like that.
Yeah.
And I heard that he wasn't real happy how it was done because they kind of like maneuvered the rules a little bit to get that trade done. But you know what? It's out of your hands as a player sometimes unless you got an absolute full no trade contract.
Yeah.
So they used the waivers on it, and then it worked out. You know what I mean? Where San Jose picks them up in the trade.
Well, they told him
in a waiver. Sorry,
you could waive, and we can trade you, or you're gonna go and you're gonna get picked up. More importantly, lots of free agents, a lot of talk about. Well, obviously, let's talk. Sam Reinhart. 52 goals, 57 goals.
He scored 57 goals and 70, I think, total.
He's going to be a free agent. That's surprising. Steven Stamkos is going to be a free agent. That's surprising.
I heard a rumor that the Rangers have keep tabs on Stamkos. I did hear that rumor.
If you can get his ass, I
also heard that Patrick Kane's back in the talks again.
Patty Kane's going to be there. There's what direction do you think the Rangers go? Kotz, I'm very curious. What do you think?
I think they realize that their last kick at the can is coming up this year with the basics that they have on the team. They have to come to that realization. If not, the next wave's coming through. Okay?
Well, Brewery did.
Next wave's coming through, Paulie. You know that, right? I've said that to you many times. You have a certain long, extended period that you better make it or break it, or it's time to move on.
Well, Drury's interview did say that he felt they needed to get bigger and stronger.
Absolutely.
So that's good to hear. Now, obviously, I think the Rangers, there's another discussion. You talked about Trouba, Gustafsson, and then you got everyone's favorite, Lindgren. And, I just think that, we talked about it, man. I don't think Gustafsson's coming back.
Well, I don't either.
Right? So that leaves one spot open. You got Zach Jones waiting in the wind. And then you got, you got a fan favorite because of his effort, but he's so undersized in Lindgren. And I think the Rangers have got to chase a big defenseman. Unless they can bring up, what was his name? I really liked him too. I think it was Scanlon.
No, it was McKay.
I mean, they got some kids. They got some guys. They got some players.
McKay's the guy they brought up that actually played tough in front of the net and all that
played
stuff.
Ugly.
And he dropped his gloves the one game.
Mm-hmm.
And, he has NHL experience. I know that. He played in Calgary for a while. I do know that.
Yeah.
Paulie, there's a lot of stuff that's in, in the barrel
think
right
they
now.
moved Trouba? Here's my first question. Do you think they actually moved Trouba?
I do.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I agree with it? I don't have an answer for you yet on that. I don't know if I agree with that yet.
You think they buy him out or they try to move him?
I think they're going to try and move him. I think there's more to it though than just him. I think there's other guys too that need to be talked to about, like, hey, you got no trade to this team that we might want to move on from you. You know, I think there's some of that going to probably go on. You mentioned Sam Reinhart. I don't think he works on the New York Rangers, okay, because of one reason only. When you watch Sam Reinhart play, he needs a facilitator. He's not a creative guy on his own.
No.
So that's the last guy you need right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he needs a Barkov.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to get the puck to him. And I'm not knocking him. He had a fantastic year, but that's one guy I would not go for.
No, I don't disagree.
Gensel's another one. I don't know if I want Gensel either, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen. The Rangers are picking like 19th or something this year, whatever, or 19th or 25th or something like that. I don't know. Beth, you would know. There might be a package deal going on somewhere for them to move up in the draft. Yeah. I agree with that. I think Chris Drury finally realizes that he knows that time's running out on the core of this team. He's got a lot of contracts he's got to worry about in the future. Schneider's going to be a guy they could re-sign, give him an extension. Same thing with Miller, believe it or not, but it might be time to move him too. And the biggest problem they're going to have is obviously Shesterkin in the future. Do you want to get tied up with a long-term contract again and have another Lundqvist with you? And I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but you had Lundqvist, one of the best goaltenders in the league for a long time, but you never really finish it off by building him a team to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you going to tie yourself up with a big contract when the NHL has proven that every other year a guy that's getting less than $3 million a year wins a Stanley Cup? I mean, Bobrovsky made $10 million this year, but the guy opposite of him was making around $2 million.
Yeah.
Aiden Hill was making under $3 million last year with Vegas. So there's some. Listen, I think listen, I'm not down on Chris Drury at all. I mean, I think a lot of people are, but I'm not. I think he understands that when he took over a team that had a lot of contracts that were locked in for a long time, that he did not do it. He did not give out all of the contracts. He gave some, but not all. You know what I mean? So he's I think he's going to do something. I obviously, like you said, they got to improve in their size and physicality, Paul, to compete in the National League's Stanley Cup playoffs, because it's a whole different animal when you play a team a possibility of 7 times. You have to have physicality. It's a must. You got to be stingy on the D. It's a must. Okay.
So I want to talk about this because I had talked about it earlier this year, and you said, oh yeah, it would be great, but you shook your head and you said, I just don't think they'll ever do something like that. And first of all, I want to tell you, I watched the documentary on Henrik Lundqvist called Open Heart. And I mean, I recommend it for a lot of people. What a strong story about someone who was so determined to play the game. I mean, really, the way he described it, man, being the New York Ranger goaltender was really the description of who he wanted to be and how hard he worked at it. And he didn't want to hear that he couldn't play, but the Rangers bought him out. Obviously, we know that before he had the ailment, and he did sign, or he tried to sign with the Washington Capitals. But when you think about how much Henrik Lundqvist was loved as a New York Ranger and his accomplishments as a New York Ranger, just phenomenal, right? people, I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,001 more time. As much as everyone loves Chris Kreider, if you could move this guy and you can get what you want for him, and yeah, you're going to have to package him. And I know there's a lot of talk, and I don't know what's true and what's false, but there's not one guy on the New York Rangers team, or there's not really a package that I wouldn't seriously consider to move Brady Tkachuk into the New York Rangers.
Not going to happen.
Huh?
That's not going to happen.
I understand what you're saying, Kotz, but listen to what I'm saying.
I would love to see that happen.
Okay. But I know
that is business suicide for the Ottawa Senators right now. You're talking suicide for that franchise.
Understood.
If they do that.
But you got to entertain a package.
Franchise.
I mean, you wouldn't entertain a package? I'd entertain a package.
I listen, you'd have to offer me for Brady Tkachuk. I'd want him Nathan McKinnon. I'd want a Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews in return. Well, I'm just telling you. That. I'm just telling you. That's
you don't have that.
Well, you're gonna, but that's if you're gonna. They're not gonna lose. You can't, Paulie. I love that idea. I think Brady Tkachuk would be perfect in New York. Okay.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you, big boy. My point here being is that anything is possible, for one. For two, you can never say never. You can never say never. I don't care. There you are. We lost you there. Put your back.
Listen, I would move everything. I'd move the Empire State Building again. Okay, but you got to put yourself in Ottawa's situation. You know, they're not one of the strongest franchises in the league.
Understood.
So, what? Okay, you're the GM. What package did you give them?
Well, listen, they're not in contention. Haven't been in a while. I mean, yeah, you would have to probably entertain me with guys like Ottman, Kakko, Kreider, maybe even a Keandre Miller. You know, in that area, I would be looking for at least 3 starters that are going to hold their own, like I said. And then, you know, like I said, I mean, I know it's never, you can't get something like Brady Tkachuk and not give something up. But if you're giving up a guy like Chris Kreider, who's a goal scorer, if you're giving up a draft pick like Othman, or a contending guy's ready to break into the league, nobody knows the potential, and you give up a guy like Miller, who, you know, everyone's high on Keandre Miller as a defenseman. You know, I know we talk about him. There's so much speak about his size, his reach, his ability to skate, his stick handling. You know, who else you want to put in? I don't care. You want to throw in a Capo? You want to throw in a Hedel? Now we're talking. I think you're talking.
Listen, I've discussed this again with a good friend of mine about him. We would love to have him in New York. I think it would be great to have him in New York. And the small rumor that I've heard is that maybe he wants out. That'd be the only way. But see, if I'm running the Ottawa Senators right now, I'm redoing his contract, and I'm signing him for 10 years, giving him $15 million a year, so he doesn't have to worry about any bullshit in the future.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that though.
I'd make him the highest paid player. That way he stays. But he could be like his brother. He'll play it out. And I don't know what his contract details are right now. I'm gonna have to look that up one of these days. But
that's my point, and you said this. I don't think he wants to be in Ottawa. I don't think he's going to stay in Ottawa. I think he's just he's just a hard-nosed guy. He's going to play out his contract, but I think he's going to want to move.
Well, if he walks, the New York Rangers should be the first team waiting for him at the airport.
Well, you would think, Rangers, Leafs, those types of teams.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. I think he's going to come to the good old U.S. of A. somewhere. That's what, if he does walk, he's coming to the USA.
Well, I got to tell you, man, there isn't a player on the Rangers roster that I wouldn't consider giving up for him.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. I agree with that for sure.
He's got excellent hands. He's ugly as can be. He's a team guy. I
think he's actually better than his brother, to be honest with you.
He is better than his brother. No, hands down to me, talent-wise for sure. And then his grit and his ugliness. He's the true meaning of a power forward. He's very Brendan Shanahan-like, but with even a little uglier side to him, I think.
You couldn't have said it better. I was just going to say that, just a little uglier.
Yeah.
No, you said it right. You said it perfectly.
And I think, I would give it away for him. I tell you what, before I start paying Shesterkin, $12 million a year, to be honest with you. Shesterkin's a great goaltender. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. But
I don't think that the Rangers need to overpay right now. And I think they still have some time. I mean, this is the year where, I got to tell you, they don't win this year. And I think his contract's good until what? The end of next year, July 1st of next year or whatever. I don't know.
Just remember what I said to you, like in our regular season shows. From now till training camp is the time to build your team.
Yeah.
It's not a trade deadline. I don't care what anybody tells you. Trade deadline is a fake story. No trades are ever made at the trade deadline that automatically guarantee you, we're going to be Stanley Cup serious threats. Now is the time. Between tomorrow and training camp is when you build your hockey club. And then the only other time is maybe a month or two after the season starts, when you start to figure out, okay, this is where we're a little weak. This is where we need to improve on. But the trade deadline means nothing. We all get excited about, the trade line's coming up. Here's the rumors. I didn't see any big again, Tarasenko made a big difference in Florida? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Enrique make a huge difference in Edmonton? No. You know what I mean?
And Roslovic and Winberg did shit. Okay.
Yeah.
How did Jake Gensel do? We talked about that. How was Gensel?
He actually scored a lot of points in the playoffs, but I don't think he's all that. I don't think he's in that very good player.
I want to see him 1 year without Crosby. I want to see 1 year without the Penguins.
He's in that very good category as a player, but now you're talking. He's also like 32 years old or something like that now.
Let's see what he does this year.
He's a free agent, though. They got to sign him.
Yeah, I think he'll probably stay either with Carolina and take a reduced deal, because Carolina's borderline too. I thought Carolina was. I think Carolina's biggest problem is goaltending. They get some real goaltending. I'm sorry, I think they could have beat the New York Rangers, and I'm a Ranger fan. If they had better goaltending, I thought Shesterkin played great, and I thought Freddie Anderson was just. I thought he was below good. I did not think he was very good. A lot of work. I think the Rangers have a lot of work this offseason, man.
Yeah, but I think Drury's got. I think he's got plans, but I don't know where it's going to start. We'll find out tomorrow.
I hate to say this, Beth. Happy birthday, but I don't think signing Lindgren's a good idea. And I'm going to tell you why, though. I'm going to tell you why.
Let's got the fangs out.
I'm going to tell you why. I think he's going to start becoming very injury prone. I think he's going to miss a lot of games now. He's a warrior, but he's been beaten and beaten and beaten down. I don't see him playing a full year. I see him sitting out long periods of time. There's only so much that his body can take. And I just don't think it's a good idea. I think the Rangers need to look outward for a big, burly defenseman, stay-at-home kind of guy. They have plenty of guys who could try to move the ball. You got, if you're keeping Keandre Miller, you still got Zach Jones in the wings. You got Adam Fox. You got plenty of guys small enough that can move the puck around. This team needs a big, burly, stay-at-home, clear the front of the net, win puck battles down low. Simple stay-at-home defenseman that can physically compete with guys like Barkov, Brady Tkachuk, those types of guys.
No, you're not wrong.
Lindgren can't do it. I'm sorry.
I don't know what's going to happen. There's so many ifs, ands, and buts with certain guys. Like I said, Schneider's going to be up for a contract. Miller's going to be up for a contract. Shesterkin's going to be up for a contract soon. And I can't remember if they're all restricted or non-restricted, blah, blah, blah. The Trouba situation, the Kako situation, your hero, Filipino. You know what I mean? What's going to happen here? All that. Well, I have to throw that in there.
Of course you did.
I had to throw that in there. And again, what you just said brings up what I've always said. Take a look at the Stanley Cup champion defenseman this year. Were there any small guys on Florida?
In the back end, not really.
No. Were there any small guys on Edmonton?
Not really.
Were there any small guys playing in Vegas last year?
No.
Who was in the Stanley Cup last year?
I get it. Listen, you're just talking up my argument.
No, I don't.
You already got small fucking guys. Fox is undersized, can't play defense to save his life, can't win puck battles, but he's great offensively. So they're not going away from him, right? You got Zach Jones in the wins. Another guy, he can move the puck, he can skate like the wind, but he's not moving the. He's not winning puck battles. He's got those guys already.
I will give him a little bit of credit, though. When he did play, he is a little bit more physical than Fox.
Sure.
He tries to.
Sure, tries. So does Lindgren. Lindgren tries.
Lindgren always throws his body at everybody.
He takes the body all the time.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you got to win back.
Andre Miller does not.
No. I'm not opposed to moving Andre Miller. Give me what I want.
I wouldn't be either right now. I wouldn't be either right now.
I mean, the only guy that I know they're going to hold on to, the two guys that I would, say you have to hold on to would be Fox and Schneider. Yeah. If I'm being honest. Now, we know, is that actually going to be, is that a reality? Probably not. I don't know. I'd be very interested. I thought the Trouba stuff was just a lot of talk. I think it takes a lot to move your captain, but hey, if you're gonna get something better, if you're gonna get something better, but I mean, he's the only guy out there that plays the body. I mean, he lights people up, wins puck battle.
I'm not a Larry Brooks fan, but he did write about that in the Post today this past week, saying that when you look at the Ranger D in totality, there's only really one menacing guy, and that's Trouba.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's right. He's right.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not in favor of it unless you get someone you want. Like I said, I don't understand. Okay. I want to see, this is what I want to see, but this is me. I want to see Rempe next year. I want to see Enstrom next year. I like Enstrom. He might not drop the gloves, but he takes the body, and he's a big bodied guy. I want to see one of the two defensemen. I want to see if Ben Harper stays. If he stays, I thought he played great a season ago for the New York Rangers. I thought he did his job.
I agree.
he drops the gloves. He's a team guy. He wins battle. I want to see that kind of guy next year. It really, you need 2 of them, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get rid of Truber, you're going to need 3. That's me talking. That's why I say Lindgren's got to go. I know Gustafson's gone. That's 2 spots that we can fill with guys that are already in the team. They're already there. Ben Harper, McKay. Didn't they have a guy? I thought his name was Scanlon.
They do have a guy named Scanlon, too. Yeah, they do.
And we watched him, and I was impressed with. I liked the way he played. There's guys that you maybe don't have to go reaching over and spending big dollar cap money. There's guys waiting in the wings that have to start playing for this team now.
Only time's going to tell. It starts tomorrow.
So
we'll see who gets it. Actually, it might start at midnight tonight. Who knows? With the buyout stories.
There's a lot, I wouldn't mind. I'm not going to, I don't care either way, but depending on what the Rangers do, I think a full season of Patrick Kane would be fun. I think, that if Mika stays and, Kreider's here and we don't get Brady Tkachuk the way I want to, that right side, if you could fill that with a Patrick Kane, and then you got to get tougher outside of that.
The way I look at it, if Patrick Kane's back in the mix and he ends up coming back, then your third, fourth line's got to be full of gorillas. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well,
like I said, I want to see Rempe and
I don't want to see a bust playing center on the third line. I don't want to see a guy that was highly drafted playing on a fourth line. I want to see some meat on the bone there. The guys that set up the table for the top 2 lines to score. That's what I want to see. If that's the case, because now you're talking about putting 2 lines together that are highly skilled, highly motivated to score, but they're not going to be very physical at all.
Right.
So you can't have non-physical in the next 2 lines.
No, you got to have beef. Well, that's why you have Enstrom, you have Rempe, you have. I like Cooley. I don't know what they're going to do with Cooley next year.
I think something's going to happen to the point where Cooley is going to get up somehow, some way up to the second line next year, full time. That's what I think.
When you say second line, you mean Mika's line?
It's possible.
Because the first line, no doubt in my mind, is Trocheck's line.
It's possible.
We all have to admit that.
Saying, you can't have a guy sit back that has a little bit more to give to you offensively forever.
What do you do with Othman? Does Othman come up?
Listen, everything I've heard about that guy. Obviously, he didn't show much when he played here, but everything I've heard about that guy is he's got a nasty streak in him. He's got hands, and he's got a nasty streak in him. We're going to see, Paul. I think there's, like you said, there's a lot of potential that they have in their system already. But it all matters about the core guys. What's going to happen with the guys that make the most money on the team? Are we keeping them together for another full year? Are we going to get rid of 1, maybe 2? I don't know. I think there's going to be some. I think there's going to be some action. What was that play? I thought maybe it fell on your ass.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Look at the old man here with his hernia surgery. Laughing too hard.
Oh, geez, I forgot about that.
What the hell's happening here?
Oh, and by the way, you got to come up and build the dock for us up there.
Oh, buddy, I can't wait. I can't wait. I love the view.
It's pretty nice. We're probably going up next week.
Good.
Do some more stuff.
Good.
All right.
How's that spare bedroom looking for me there, big boy?
The spare bedroom, as for now, is going to have like a blow-up mattress for sure. Well, we got to get furniture and everything for the whole place. It's empty. You know what I mean? Unless you want to buy one for us as a present.
Hey, matter of fact, I got a brand new couch you could have. I got a brand new kitchen table you could have.
No.
I'll ship it up. When we get off the podcast, Jimmy, I'll have it shipped to you.
You know what? I'm gonna milk this hernia thing for months now because I'm not.
You got it fixed?
I'm not supposed. Yeah, I got 3 slices in the side of me here, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna milk it now that I can't lift anything heavier than a bottle.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not supposed to lift anything for at least a month or 2.
Yeah.
So I can direct people.
You don't fucking lift anything anyway, pal.
Yes, that's probably. you
lift comic books.
You need a big burly defenseman, a stay-at-home one? I'm right here. I'm right here. Stay at home.
Oh, my God. I've had enough of this. Oh, God. All right, well, listen.
We're going to keep an eye on stuff here. I'm
going away.
If somebody...
4th of July.
If something happens that's major, we'll figure out a time to do a show. If something happens that's major concerning the New York Rangers, okay?
Yeah. I get back on the.
Where are you going away now? You're like a traveling man now.
I can probably do the 2nd, July 2nd, if you're interested.
All right. Well, if something happens, we'll do it.
Well, it'll be after the 1st, so we'll see. We'll see if anything good happens. Other than that, I've had enough. I gotta go.
Where are you going?
Detroit.
Oh, that's right. You're going to meet the in-laws. I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Oh, you watch. You're gonna bite the bullet one day. I can tell.
Oh man.
Ever since I've known you, this is the longest relationship you've had.
Thanks for calling me out on the podcast, Scott.
And that includes your ex-wife.
I'm gonna fucking end this stream right now.
You know I love you, Paulie.
Oh my God, he's the worst, man.
You know I love
All right, everyone. Well, I guess Kotzi's hernia drugs are working real good.
Oh, I didn't. I was supposed to take some like Oxycontin type shit. I didn't go to get them.
We might do something here in the next week. See what happens.
Yeah,
with free agency, what happens. We might do a free agent show. All right, the week of 4th of July.
Thanks for listening.
The 2nd or the 5th. All right, everyone. Good night, and we'll see you soon.